So good evening, Mr. Zare. Thank you for joining me. So today I would like to conduct an presentation with you to find out about the expenditure on your household income and the impact of COVID-19 on your expenditure pattern. So you will be presenting the M42. So without further ado, I will start with the first question. So my first question is, um, how did the pandemic affect the income of your household?
Do I have to switch on my camera?
No need. Just turn out audio.
Um, Hello. Okay, wait. So I think for your question, I think it affected 50% of household income during the pandemic.
I see. So how did you recover from that situation?
So during the pandemic, I myself received a few initiatives from the government, such as the Perkeso termination, the deduction of electricity bills. I also have the extension of bank loan. And since I'm in the M40 category, I received the bantuan pilihan fit.
So moving on to my next question, which is how many months can your household survive before running out of savings during the MCO?
Our saving is heavily affected. I would say around 9 months before running out of savings. We managed to survive by taking out our children's saving and our BSN savings.
I see. So this is my last question. How did you improvise or plan your expenditure throughout the PKP period?
One of it is, of course, I reduced the unnecessary expenditure and I eat more home cooked meal. I also avoid shopping and eating food that has longer shelf life. And I increase my purchase on communication and internet service for work and online education.
Uh, I think that's all from me. It's a quite insightful interview session with you. I would like to thank you for your time and cooperation, and I wish you the very best for your future. Thank you,
Right.
Mr. Zari.
All right. Thank you also for lending me your time.
Good evening. So I'm a student from MSc University. So I would like to interview regarding the impact of COVID pandemic on V40 category. So can you introduce a little bit about yourself to us?
Yeah, sure can. I am Arvin. I am currently working as a food panda rider. That's
All
it.
right, thank you. So let me start off with the first question. So which government initiative helped you during the pandemic period?
Actually, there was one government initiative known as Bantuan Keluarga Malaysia. They they provided extra RM50 for the category under Bujang. I think on that's it.
All right. So moving on to the second one, how did pandemic affect the income of your household?
Okay, see, during the pandemic period, right? Lot of company really reduced their working hours. So same goes to my company. I had very less working hours. So because of that, my monthly salary was reduced. So I couldn't manage my monthly budget and couldn't fulfill other commitments.
So, how did you recover from that situation?
Okay. During that time, that's the time I started to work as food panda rider. After my 9 to 5, right, I will be working as a food panda rider until midnight, sometimes until midnight. It will be really tiring. I almost work two work in a day.
So, how many months can your household survive before running out of savings during MCU?
To be honest, I actually managed to survive for the first month. Mm, because I couldn't manage my monthly budget with only one source of income. So I had to find another way to balance it.
So, the last question: how did you improvise your expenditure throughout the PKP period?
Okay, during that time, I cut off a lot of unnecessary expenses. Then I started to cook from home. I stopped buying food from outside and stop all the okay. Mm, and during that time, uh, the food panda thing really helped me. During that time, people won't be going out and buy food, right? So that time, I used to get lot of orders. So it helps me to earn more during the period. So I finally managed to balance my expenditures.
Alright, so thank you so much for joining me for the interview session. Thank you.
Good evening. Thanks for joining the interview session. So, can you introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Prem. I'm a property agent.
All right.
That's my job.
All right. Thank you. So, let me start off with the interview. So, the first question is which government initiative helped you during the pandemic period?
In terms of the property industry, there was actually no help from the government because we are more to like in the agent industry, right? So we are in the sales industry, so we don't really get any type of incentives from the government. Yeah.
Okay. So, moving on to the second question. So, how did the pandemic affect your income of your household?
Okay. So when you are in the property industry, right? The first thing you have to know is that when you are closing a sale, you are bringing the people to the show gallery. So that's where we show them how is the house, how is the condominium, and so on. But since the pandemic had a lockdown, so we were not able to bring customers or clients inside the showroom. So we had to do Zoom type of viewing, which was not really effective. But anyhow, we still managed to do it. But of course, the income is not as good as how it is in the before the pandemic lah.
But how did you recover from that pandemic situation?
You mean like what income wise?
Yeah.
Okay. We recover. We just get back to work like how we are used to do. Like I said earlier, we can interact with clients better. So we make more effort meeting them, closing sales. So obviously the income is better lah. After the pandemic, we recovered like that lah.
So, how many months can your household survive before running out of the savings during MCU?
I don't think so. We ran out of savings because we managed to save a lot of money. So it was quite okay lah, to be honest. Since we can manage money well, so surviving during the pandemic was not a big issue. But of course, I get it. Like some people, even though they earn a lot, they don't really manage it well. So they tend to have some hard times, especially during pandemic. So for us and my family, we didn't find any kind of hardship. The only hardship was not earning good income. But in terms of savings, in terms of running the daily lifestyle, it was good lah.
So finally, the last question. So how did you improvise your expenditure throughout the PKP period?
Expenditure.
Yeah, your spending.
Okay. We reduced a bit lah. But then if you look at it, we actually get to save more because we are not going out, right? So we tend to have meals at home cooked food and all this. So we actually tend to save more. But of course, when you're at home, you have nothing to do. So you tend to do some online shopping here and there. And then the expenses tend to go higher lah. For us, man, I think it's lower compared to women. Women tend to do more online shopping, like my sister and all. So I think expenditure wise, we managed it like that lah.
All right. So that's all for the interview session. Thanks. Thank you for your time. Thank you.
Hi, I'm going to interview you today under the category of B40. Can you please introduce yourself first?
Hi, my name is Sarah, and I'm a student and currently running business, online business.
Okay, so there's actually 5 questions only that I'm going to ask you. So first, which government initiatives helped you during the pandemic period?
Nothing much helped except for the e-belia that we student received about 100 ringgit.
That's all.
Yeah.
Okay, so next question. How did the pandemic affect your income in your household?
We wasn't really affected as my dad is a frontliner worker. He was still working to keep the country safe, but we still had financial difficulties.
Right. So how did you recover from that situation?
My mom and I started an online business with low investment.
During like PKP period?
Yeah.
Okay. So how many months can your household survive before running out of savings during the MCO?
About 3 to 4 months.
Okay. So finally, last question. How did you improvise how did you plan your expenses and expenditure throughout the PKP period?
We did not shop and buy unnecessarily stuffs as we need to save the money for emergency purposes. We also tried to do some online business selling cookies and biscuits that help to support the family a bit.
All right. Thank you so much for your time. Hello.
Hello.
Hi. So I'm going to interview you under the category of M40. So first of all, may you introduce yourself?
Okay, sure. Hi, I'm Vasantra here. I'm an accountant. Currently, I'm an accountant working under my dad's business. My dad is having an event management in the name of City Canopy. And yeah.
All right. So I'm not going to take much time. I just have a few questions. Okay. So first of all, may I know which are the government initiatives that help you during this pandemic period?
I don't think so. We receive any government initiative during the pandemic period because they are more focused on B40. So we are not in that category. So we don't receive any government initiative during our pandemic.
Okay. How did the pandemic affect your household income and everything?
Okay, since we are in event management, there is a restriction that came out from the government stating that there must be a social distancing and so on. So we couldn't have any event that's happening. We couldn't organize any event and so on. So by that we are having like zero income during our pandemic, and by that we really have so much of problem by paying our workers and our warehouse rental. We didn't even get any income, and we couldn't pay any of
Manage all
it.
that.
Hmm.
Right. Okay. So how did you recover from that situation?
Recover is after the government release a statement of MCO that's been lifted. That is the time we receive few orders, like very small order, not to say a very huge crowd event and so on, just a small income. So we started by then, and now it's way better than last year.
All right. That's good. So roughly, right, how many months can your house survive before running out of savings during the MCO?
Approximately around 8 to 9 months we could survive with our savings. After that, we are praying for the events to start. So yeah,
Meaning if the
approximately
MCO was longer, it's hard to survive after
definitely going to be harder. I think we are about to take loan and so on if
Right.
the MCO continue.
Okay. Last question. How did you improvise your expenditure plan and on throughout the PKP period?
Okay, first we list down all our expenditure, and then my dad and I was like prioritizing which expenditure that we should focus on. For example, our workers. We need to pay our workers no matter what. Like no matter we don't have an income, we have to pay them. So that is one expenses that we have to pay monthly. And second is our warehouse rental. If our things is all over there, if we don't pay them, we don't have place to keep things. So those are the expenses, for example, lah. Those are the expenses that we should consider for our business. So second, our household expenditure as well. So we have put our budget like 1 month we are going to spend only this much. So we successfully achieve our budget. So,
Right. Okay. Thank you so much for your time. This is very helpful. Thank you.
So good evening, Madam Mumtaz. Thank you for joining me. I am Muhammad Amar Shah, bachelor student from Management and Science University. I would like to conduct an interview session with you to find out about the impact of COVID-19 pandemic to your household income and your expenditure pattern. So you will be representing the T20 group. So without wasting time, I will start with the first question. So during the pandemic, how severe does the pandemic affect the income of your household?
Yeah, hi, good evening. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Yes, like any other household, my household was also affected by this pandemic. And to begin with, the nature of our business was IT profession, and we were supposed to travel to India and US, to name a few countries. So with this pandemic, this traveling and connecting with people was merely zero. So eventually our contract was terminated after a few months waiting for the borders to open. So yeah, so our income was stopped there.
So moving on to the next question. How did you recover from that situation?
Well, we meantime waiting for the borders to be open. Me and my spouse were thinking various angles to come up with solution to our problems, to our no income status. So we took this initiative, or we took another chance to set up another business in this country, in Malaysia. And as a startup, we we managed to get established, though it is zero. It started from the zero ground, so it is starting to show some results. So that's how we overcome that problem.
So we'll move on to the third question, which is which government initiatives helped you during the pandemic period?
Yes, thank you to the government for the moratorium to all our loans. So it helped a lot in saving for not burning out our savings. So that helped a lot, and also deductions on our electricity bills and to name a few. This was the major help by the government.
So my next question will be, how many months can your household survive during the before running out of savings during the pandemic period?
Well, the last lockdown took us 12 months. I mean, we could only survive for 12 months with our ASB savings, and we had to also touch our children's savings in order to run the household. And terminating our health insurance were also major savings for us we had 3 health insurance, so we have to stop that to save some money. So that's how we survived 12 months.
I think that's a quite good strategy from you. So this is my last question. How did you improvise or plan your expenditure throughout the PKP period?
Well, it wasn't easy. We restricted a lot of things. We only indulge 2 meals a day with minimum grocery for a week. So we make do with whatever grocery we have with those 2 meals thing. So that kind of helped because everything was under ration. And power, electricity bill and telephone bills were kept minimum. And no holidaying, no leisure. So that's how we tried our best to stay afloat.
So I think that's all from me. It's a quite insightful interview session from you. I would like to thank you for your time and cooperation, and I wish you the very best for your business in the future. So thank you, Madam Mumtaz.
Yes, most welcome. It's my pleasure. All the best to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah.
Hi, Assalamualaikum Nisa. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Can you introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Lisa. 26 years old and currently working as a clerk at Post Laju office. And I live in KL.
Okay, so now I'm going to ask the first question. How effective were the government stimulus package for B40 and during the MCO?
During the MCO, I only got 200 ringgit from the BPN, and I would say it did not help at all. Yeah.
Okay, so and for the second question, were you able to pay your rent and bills during the MCO?
Yes, but I had to use all my saving to pay for the rent, for my rent and bills.
And how does MCO affect the income position of your household?
I was quite affected by the MCO, and as I have to work at home, my salary was cut to half, and I tried my best to save save money by, you know, cook at home, because before this I was spending a lot on food and takeaways.
Understood. And for the last question, how many months can your household survive before running out of your saving during the MCO?
Um, I I think my saving was enough during the MCO. Um, I'm using all my saving to pay the rent and bills. Yeah, I would say it was quite okay for me.
Okay, so I think that's it. Thank you for your time and Assalamualaikum.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye, Nista. Good luck with your job.
Hi, sir. My name is Yanur Ilya, a student of Bachelor in International Business from MSU. And I'll like to ask you some questions regarding the economic crisis during the pandemic, COVID-19 pandemic. And you're in the category T20. So firstly, please introduce yourself.
So I'm Harkishan Singh. So I'm oil and gas industry.
All right, thank you. So I'll start with the first question. Which government initiative helped you during the pandemic period?
Moratorium and ICNR.
Oh, okay. And for the second question, how did pandemic affect the income of your household?
Not affected at all. Oil and gas industry is essential service or business as usual.
So you're in oil and gas and okay, I understand. For the third question, how did you recover from the situation?
Not applicable.
Oh, since you're not
because
affected.
oil and gas oil.
All right. Okay. How many months can your household survive before running out of savings during the MCO?
Not affected, hence not applicable also.
Okay. Okay. So for the last question, how did you improvise or plan your expenditure throughout the PKP period?
Spend more on Grab, groceries, and online shopping. Great opportunity to put more saving from moratorium and EPF withdrawals.
All right. So that's all of the questions that I'll be asking. So thank you so much, and it was very helpful for my project. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.